Just like that. Y'all wasn't even expecting this today. I knew I had this plan, but I didn't even want to give it to y'all before it was time. So now we're live. But for only $100, I promote whatever you need on my social medias. That's and my website. That's my Twitter, Facebook, Insta Stories, YouTube community, and my website, www.doggiediamondstv.com, which will be featured on. Hit me up on Instagram at Doggie Diamonds for your promo. Serious inquiries only. Must be Cash App ready. Y'all wasn't even expecting this. And this is the best time when they don't expect it. So without any further ado, you know who I am and you know what I do. This is Doggie Diamonds. This is Doggie Diamonds No Filter. This is Doggie Diamonds TV. So, looking around, watching different interviews, watching different things, we can't let people put narratives out there that don't get challenged. So an individual made a statement on one of my favorite shows, Drink Champs, by the name of Shyne. And I thought it was a shot at the brothers. So what I did was I contacted one of the brothers that I know, and I decided to bring him on and let him give his spiel on it. Because again, some of the brothers don't get platforms like these other dudes do, so they get to leave it like that. So you see the title, so you sure already know what we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, I should introduce myself as well as my guest. Introduce yourself to the people.
Peace, peace, peace. Salute to the family. It's your brother Zion Lexx of Zion Lexx TV, author, historian, active community member, father, husband, you know, a genuine good around brother.
Oh, you ain't throwing Brooklyn? What are we doing? You want to get your...
Oh, if we're going to talk about the town and where we from, then I definitely got to shout out Flatbush, Brooklyn. Definitely want to shout out the 50s. Definitely want to shout out Vanderveer projects. Definitely want to shout out all my family in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Oh, you mean Flatbush Gardens?
I'm not jacking. I'm not jacking that.
I figured that. I figured that. But yo, bro, me and my homegirl, she was looking for apartments, right? Yeah. And she was like, I found this place called Flatbush Gardens. So I went with her to look for an apartment. And I'm like, yo, this is Vanderveer. She was like, no, it's Flatbush Gardens. I'm like, it's not Flatbush Gardens. This is Vanderveer. Don't let them fool you with all of this madness. So yeah, that was just funny as hell. So they tried to rename it and remix it, but whatever. So Zion Lexx, how you been first and foremost?
I've been good, brother. I've been good. I've been enjoying health, wealth, strength, community workshops, you know, building with various communities in the country, domestically, outside the country, internationally. Shout out to all our supporters that support me, my brand, and what I do, from West Africa all the way out to even places like the UK, Canada, and even places like the Netherlands. Shout out to all of you.
So Zion Lexx TV is your YouTube, right? Right.
Is my YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What made you go into that lane finally of building your own brand and because you was on a lot of other platforms, but now you have your own platform where you teaching? What made you finally decide to start your own thing?
Absolutely. Good question. So being the captain of your ship ensures the direction that you're going in. And while I love and appreciate everybody that has given me time on their platform, like yourself and many others, one thing I realized that in order to control your destiny, you got to be steering the ship. You got to become the captain of your ship, right? You can't have the destiny of your brand exclusively in the hands of someone else. So slowly but surely, as I begin to understand that, I begin to slowly position myself to empower myself by creating my own lane.
Okay. So without any further ado, let's just get right into it. Shyne, Brooklyn brother, he from your part of town, right or wrong?
That's right. He's from Brooklyn. He's from BK.
Okay. What part of Brooklyn is he from? I never was really definitive of where he was from in Brooklyn.
From what I understand, Shyne is from the Crown Heights area. He's from the Heights.
Okay. But we don't really know exactly where, right?
Nah, I don't know exactly where, because I don't really know nobody in the hood that say that they know Shyne. Most of us know Shyne because of his interaction with Bad Boy. But as far as street shit, I ain't never heard nobody bang Shyne's name. That's just the truth.
Okay. So, all right. Shyne, we know him from Bad Boy. I knew of some of his raps. I knew people who knew him from rapping. I didn't really know nobody who knew him from the street. Not to take away from his street or whatever, because I just don't know nobody who knew him on that level. We're from different sides, right? Mm-hmm. So we know him from putting out music. We knew him from going to prison, unfortunately. We knew him from the case. But then I got to really look at him differently when he came home and he was of a certain faith that was very confusing to me. When you first seen him, first of all, when he came home out of prison and he changed his name, do you remember what he changed his name to?
Yeah, he changed his name to Moses Levi. Moses Levi.
And in your what would you call it? Is it your faith? Is your doctrine? Is your birthright? What would you call being what do you classify yourself as first and foremost?
So I'm an Israelite,
okay.
Hands down.
Okay.
There is a culture that's associated with it. There is a faith, but we who are people who represent Israelite culture and heritage, we first and foremost see it as a bloodline.
Okay.
Right? But the heritage and the culture aspect is definitely faith-based.
Okay. So when he came and his name was Moses Levi, mm-hmm. Before you saw him and you heard that name, what did you think?
I automatically knew that he must have been jacking European swag.
Why is that?
Because most Israelites wouldn't even pronounce it that way. That's an English pronunciation. And the thing about the Israelite community is we're staunch about wanting to return back to that organic estate, right? So we want to make sure that even when we're speaking of ourselves, that we're acknowledging our name in its proper perspective and in its proper tonation. So we're not going to sound like Europeans. We're not going to borrow from Europeans. We consider Israelites to be African-centered culture. So we have to approach it from an African-centered point of view.
So if your name was Moses Levi, how would you pronounce it?
Moshe Lewi.
Okay. Moshe Lewi. Okay. So you knew automatically he was.
Yeah, I automatically knew.
Then when you saw him in his garb and his dress, what was your first thoughts?
That further validated the fact that he was jacking European swag, because to wear the locks, which the side locks that he has, that's called peyot among European Jews. And it's part of what's called their minhag or their culture to rock their side locks like that. In Israelite culture, we say that we do not shave clean our beard. We allow our beards to go. European Jews interpret that biblical verse as not allowing your sideburns to be removed. So that's why they allow their curls to grow like that. But that's based on Eurocentric interpretation of African thought. So when I see the brother Shyne coming out of prison, which most black men, when we come out of prison, we become more African-centered.
Yes.
We become more black and more conscious of our own culture. So to see this black man come out of a hall, we like to call prison in the 90s in the Israelite community, we used to call prison the house of many doors, right? Because that's what prison is. It has many doors, right? To see this man come from the house of many doors and not represent the black culture, black consciousness, and African-centered thought, and on the contra side, him come out looking like a European Jew, that was alarming to me, because at the same token, he was telling people that he's also an Israelite. And some of us had issues with that because that's not Israelite culture at all.
So, okay. Now, he also was on Drink Champs. And give me the quote that bothered you.
Oh, man. So one of the quotes, because there was a couple quotes that bothered me. One of the quotes that bothered me is Shyne went up there and said that, being a Jew is a faith-based thing. Anybody could be a Jew. And he said to Nori, I'm an Israelite. And when I say Israelite, I'm not talking about those brothers on 42nd Street. That was a huge problem for me. I got to watch my language. I don't want to curse or nothing on the show. But that was a huge problem for me, because he made sure to align himself with his fellow European Jews, but he distanced himself from Jews of color that look just like him, that are in part responsible for him even be able to call himself an Israelite, because European Jews don't use that term. They don't say they Israelites. They say they Jewish.
Facts.
So if you're going to jack our term and say you Israelite, then you can't distance yourself from us. You might disagree with some of what the brothers on 42nd supposedly teach, right? And I say supposedly because any New Yorker that knows Israelites in the city, they all over.
Yeah.
Right. So to say 42nd Street, again, is showing you, his lack of having a grip on what's being spoken in the streets. In the hood, we say he's not outside.
So is it any particular camp that he's talking about? Because I know of a few camps that was in the Deuce, but that ain't been for a while though. So what is he talking about?
I think he's talking about the superstructure known as ISUPK. And shout out to those brothers, headed by General Yohana.
Yes.
They, for a long time, taught on 42nd Street.
Okay.
And then they began to grow, emerge, and go to various parts of the city, and then eventually the world. So 42nd Street is not their location. Their location is one west,
mm-hmm.
right? One west, way uptown in Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
But where they used to mainly teach in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, and even today is primarily, 42nd Street, or as we say, 4 Deuce.
Yeah, the Deuce. So so should every camp be offended by what he said?
I think every Israelite should be offended by what Shyne said, period, because he had no problem aligning himself with European Jews. But he wants to make it clear for the Drink Champ audience that he has no association, we just gonna say it for what it is,
mm-hmm.
blacks who call themselves Jews or Israelites. And that's a problem for me, because that's that Uncle Tom shit.
Yeah, basically. So 42nd, 40 Deuce, I remember, I know GMS used to be out there. A brother by the name of Zabak used to be out there a lot. Mm-hmm. The homie, Hashar used to be. I mean, it was a lot of different brothers out there mm-hmm. on the Deuce. Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. it is of different camp, but besides some of the things that GMS has said in the past, a lot of the brothers have different ways of giving a spiel, but it's all basically, I don't want to say the same because some of y'all are different, but y'all all will consider yourself to be Hebrew Israelites. Y'all wouldn't say I'm a Jew. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. But you also believe the difference between you and how you feel is that you believe that is Afrocentric also. That's the difference between you and a lot of the other brothers.
That would be my difference between the One West camps, right? The One West camps teach that Israelites have no connection to Africa, right? And just to be clear, the One West camps, they originate in 1969, right? My teachers come from what we call the Rabbi Matthews lineage, which is 1919, right? My teachers walked with all of the greats. Mm-hmm. The people who are held to the highest podiums, for instance, your Dr. Ben, that we put a lot of respect on in the conscious community. Dr. Ben belonged to an Israelite congregation in Brooklyn, New York, and that's how he got the name Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen from Black Jews or Israelites in Brooklyn. Yes. Shout out to Dr. Ben.
Shout out to Dr. Ben. So what was some of the other things that he said that bothered you? I got incense burning too, y'all. By the way, I'm getting my vibes, so incense is burning. But go ahead, what's up?
The other thing that bothered me about the direction that he was trying to go, because I think Nori was asking him some very straightforward questions, and it just seemed to me as an intelligent black man that Shyne was tiptoeing through the tulips, like he wasn't trying to upset the white status quo. And to a certain extent, I understand the plight of a politician, because if Shyne is running for an office, like it or not, he's a politician.
Yes.
And I understand the plight and the dilemma of being a politician, right? Diplomacy means that you have to please as many people as possible. But that's a problem when you are going to style yourself as a religious or spiritual advocate of Black consciousness, because diplomacy can compromise Black consciousness, because we're not placating to anybody's agenda. We're not placating to anybody's views. We are speaking truth to power, no matter who that superpower structure is, especially when that power structure is the very people that he's trying to align himself with.
So basically, no bootlicking, no buck dancing, no.
None of that.
Yeah, you're gonna get yeah. So did what? Basically, is he a sellout?
Yes, the statement he made. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He's listen. I don't know what Shyne do from day to day, but on the topic of speaking on Israelites, he sold out the Israelite community. Most Israelites felt that way about many of the things that he said. But I'll also give you a counter opinion, right? Because I've had this conversation on my own YouTube channel and with other people. I do like that he used his time on the station to talk about what it is to be an Israelite. What I do not like is where he took the conversation. Right? So I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I did give him credit on my YouTube channel for actually speaking about Israelites, because so many people still to this day may not know what an Israelite is. So I gave him credit for that, for using a major platform like that to do so. And I'm sure you already know this, he's actually the third or fourth person to come back to back on Drink Champs to talk about Israelites. Doggy, a lot of people been talking about Israelites on these major platforms, even right now on your platform.
Oh, you know, I always have that. I set that off with the Israelite brothers, so that's easy, you know.
Yeah.
So when we look at, so Amari Stoudemire also is an Israelite, right?
Yes.
Amari Stoudemire. Who is some famous people? Because I don't think people know, and I think they, again, reason why I'm asking you this, because y'all do have a bad stigma as the dudes who's on the corner cursing everybody out. Y'all do have that. And I can say that I done been around, I've been around ISUPK. I never seen them doing that per se. I seen them teaching, and then when people come challenge you, you gonna get it. Now, I have seen camps cursing everybody out who walk past, but I've seen camps teaching, but if you come challenge them, you gonna get flamed. And how they flame you has never been opinion. They always went to a passage in the verse in the Bible, which I give them, which I give all the brothers credit for that. So if they say something and they if you ask them something, they always go right to. So I don't know how y'all got that on cap. I give y'all credit. Y'all know that book front and back. I do not know how y'all know that. Because if I say, yo, I can't, you'd be like, yo, give me such and such, such and such. Read. And I'm like, yo, how you pull that off cap like that? No matter. So I do respect that, if nothing else. So who is some of the more popular people that are Israelites that people don't know, that don't be yelling on the camera? Amari Stoudemire.
You know, you got Amari Stoudemire. I want to say shout out to Zab Judah.
Of course.
He was born in the Israelite community. In fact, Zab Judah and his father comes out of the same Israelite temple that I do.
Wow.
Zab Judah's father is called Yoel Judah. He used to be a kickboxer in the 80s, and he later taught his children how to box. In fact, a lot of people don't know this. Zab got a lot of brothers, and he wasn't the best boxer among his brothers, but Zab brothers was on that street shit hard.
Yeah.
So that messed up their career. But if we would have got to see Zab's other brothers, y'all would have saw some madness from the Zab Judah family. So Zab's actual full name is Zabdiel Judah. Zabdiel. Y'all know him as Zab, but he's called Zabdiel Judah. His father been in the Israelite way of life since the early 1960s, a long time. In fact, to really bust something on your channel, a young Mike Tyson came around to the gym in the early 80s and was taken all around New York City to show the black side of the boxing gyms. Because remember, when Mike came in, he aligned himself with Customato, right? But just so you know, that's not the origin. Mike could tell you himself. Mike used to come all the way to Brownsville, where he lived, and Mike used to come to Bed-Stuy, where the gym was.
Bed-Stuy boxing gym, yep.
Bed-Stuy boxing gym. And Zab Judah's father, shout out to Yoel Judah, used to take that brother all throughout Brooklyn, all throughout Uptown, all throughout everywhere you could find real people getting it in. So, you know, and he was doing that at age 12 and 13. So, you know, Mike been in it for a minute. On top of that, you have, shout out to my brother, my mentee, Andre Berto, right? Who was Floyd Mayweather's last, you know, actual
professional fight.
Professional fight. Andre Berto, you know, shout out to my brother, Steve Cunningham, who's another boxer. He was a cruiserweight. He was the first person to put Tyson Fury on his ass. When Tyson Fury made his debut in America, He fought an Israelite boxer by the name of USS Steve Cunningham, and Steve dropped him in the fight, the first person to do that. So there's a lot of people that are in the Israelite movement. For instance, I could tell you stories where you had people like Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh that used to come down to Brooklyn, and Israelites used to hold them down.
Fact, but
you know,
and the AOI, he says to the Israelites,
exactly.
Dougie Fresh, definitely, yeah,
exactly. Remember that song? He said, "I gave a pound to my, piece to my brother, and I said shalom."
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So Dougie Fresh been around Israelites a long time. In fact, Dougie Fresh's son shares a child with one of my teachers in the Israelite community. So there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't get to see, that they're not aware of. But Israelites been around for a long time, man, a long time. And there's a lot of people that I unfortunately can't name because the media, right, tends to, blacklist and blackball some of these people just for saying who they are. So there's many more people that I could actually name that I personally know. But unfortunately, I can't speak their names unless they want their name spoken.
Yeah, because even this topic, this ain't getting monetized. We know YouTube is not going to monetize this because we're talking about the person who runs all of this is you know what I'm saying, he's down with Shyne, you know what I'm saying, he's down with the Shyne crew. So what you, and a lot of y'all don't know that, you know what I'm saying, so a lot of times you go out there, they like, what, that ain't getting it, we ain't monetizing that, what are some of the misconceptions of being Hebrew Israelite?
A major misconception is Hebrew Israelites are anti-African. The founder of the Israelite movement in America in 1919, Rabbi Josiah Ford, and his protege, Rabbi Arthur Matthews. Rabbi Matthews was invited by Haile Selassie to speak on his behalf at a UN meeting here in New York City. I have the letter. The letter is also at the Schomburg Museum. I'm going to send it to you directly so that you could post it to your community page for your following to see. That Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia asked the Israelite rabbi to speak on his behalf at a major conference in New York City to address how Ethiopians are being treated unfairly by the UN. So Israelites can't be anti-African when you have major leaders and teachers that got a lot of respect by African leaders. So that major misconception is every Israelite is anti-African. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Those Israelites that are quote unquote anti-African, they have one West origins. It's what we call the one West Israelites.
Got you. I think another misconception is that all y'all stand on the corner and curse people out too, right?
Facts. Another misconception is that all of us stand on the corner when the majority of Israelites in the world are not those that you would see on the corner.
The next thing is that what is the language? Is it Hebrew? What is the original language of your beliefs?
Hebrew. The Hebrew language is associated with Israelite culture and heritage. And
you also can speak Hebrew and read it, right? And write it.
Absolutely. I'm a teacher of biblical Hebrew for many decades now. I also teach Aramaic, and I even teach hieroglyphs, or what's called Medu Neter.
You've been cheating. I seen that. You've been dibbling and dabbling in that. What was the purpose of you going into the Medu Neter?
The purpose was a lot of people were giving credence to the narrative that the Bible is ahistorical, it's not historical. Israelites were never in Kemet, they were never in Egypt. So I said to myself, if I'm to enter this intellectual arena and debate and reason about these ideas, which are the source of controversy, I got to be able to read the writing on the walls. Because if my opponent, who's pro-Kemet or pro-Egypt, if he can read the writing on the walls, which, by the way, 95% of them don't, there's more Israelites who are functionally literate with the Hebrew language in the Israelite community than there are people holding up the banner of Kemet that could read the Medu Neter. And that's just the facts. Some of them even call themselves priests, by the way.
No, don't do it. I know you're talking about. Don't do that. Don't do that to the homie.
I'm going to just keep it real.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, don't do that to the homie. But that's y'all thing. Shout out to everybody. Because I know who you talk about, but shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. So also, what do these guys because we from the town, so we got Bensonhurst and we got Crown Heights, what language do they speak? They don't even speak Hebrew, right?
Right now, so the European Jews that you see, they speak what's called Yiddish, right? Yiddish is a cross between what's called the Slavic languages, your Germanic languages, mixed with what we call Ladino, Hebrew, and quote unquote modern English. That's Yiddish. Yiddish is a composition of the Slavic Germanic languages, Ladino, Hebrew, and even elements of modern English.
So, okay. The Torah is written in what?
Hebrew.
So if they can't read or speak it, how do they? I'm confused now.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that European Jews don't read Hebrew. They definitely read Hebrew. But what I'm saying is, among European Jews, when they speak Yiddish, unless you're in the state of Israel, where the official language of the state of Israel is what's called Sephardic Hebrew, which is closer to how Africans would speak and read Hebrew.
So, yeah, because I'm confused a little bit. Like, if they speak Yiddish and the book is written in the thing, why don't they speak the original language?
Fact.
You agree with it? Because I'm confused.
Say that again, that last statement.
Why don't they speak the original language that their book is written in? Why do they speak a different language? Why don't they speak? And if they consider themselves to be Hebrews, why right. they're not Yiddish, right? That's a language.
Well, exactly. Well, that's precisely the point. You see, Doggy, they are not the people, right? Like I could go right now to my bookshelf, which is just, a hand's tap away from me, and pull out a book by an Israeli professor by the name of Shlomo Sand. He wrote a book entitled The Invention of the Jewish Race. And he's a current university professor at Tel Aviv. He's a European Jew. And the title of his book, The Invention of the Jewish People, is a historical chart of how Europeans converted to a religion that they named Judaism, and they do not represent the aboriginal practitioners and bloodline of the Hebrew Israelites.
Got you. So, your channel is Zion Lexx TV. What is some of the things that they could see on your channel?
You could definitely see current events. I tackle current issues. For instance, one of the things that I talked about recently is the connection between the metaverse, quote unquote, and blockbuster movies like The Matrix. You could definitely come on my channel and get a lot of historical knowledge. I like to talk about some of the major African-centered civilizations, namely a focus on people like the ancient Egyptians, the Kushites, the Ethiopians, various West African tribes, and how Hebrews tie into that multifaceted culture.
I just want to say something to somebody on the chat real quick. And I've been looking at the chat. I've been seeing people saying little things, and I've been letting people slide. But I do want to ask somebody a question in here. It said that Israelites be having mad female energy. Men could get their point across, minus all the yelling. Now, the person that said that name is Josh Daniel, which is very weird to me because those are two biblical names. You know what I'm saying? Those are two biblical names, Josh Daniel. So, because he said Zion Lexx sound like a porn star name, but his name is Josh Daniel, which is biblical names, both of them. So it's just you got to be careful when you throw a stone and your house is glass, because you're making fun of his name, but your name is Josh Daniel, and he could show you where's his name at in the Bible.
You can find Josh in the early books of Exodus as a person who was a close assistant to Moses. His name is Joshua. You can find Daniel in the book of Daniel. You know what I'm saying? Doggy, they say imitation is a form of flattery. And what I say, hate is actually a form of admiration and love.
Yeah. And again, my thing to you is that it's just all about giving people a platform to speak their piece. And what I don't understand with our people is that when we disagree, a lot of times we resort to insults and being very, very disrespectful, instead of just sitting back, just doing the knowledge and say, let me peep what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Instead, we just really have a thing with trying to knock each other down. But we don't do that on these other platforms or these other dudes that's making us look like fools every day. You know what I'm saying? Go in those chat rooms and talk to them like that. Go to these Ashkenazi dudes because they got big platforms. You understand what I'm saying? Got 4 million subscribers. Go on there and talk to them about that. You can't, y'all got to stop. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I like to say about this new goofy energy, Doggy? Me and you notice that the people who will be in the chat rooms talking and coming at people like you and I, when they see us in the street, y'all don't know, the viewers don't know, those be the same people that be like, yo, let me get your picture, man.
Facts.
I'm a fan of yours.
Facts. But be right in the
Not
chat room
knowing
under
that you
aliens.
remember who they are.
Yep.
Some of them might be remembering. I'm like, hold on before you take that picture. Because where I'm from, we like for people to keep their energy. So I just want to address what you were saying online, that after we address it, if you still want to take a picture after that, then maybe we could proceed. But first, let's address the energy you had in the chat rooms. That's just where I come from. And a lot of people, to be honest, Doggy, they not built like that. So to be honest, I don't really pay attention to them kind of comments, because I know for a fact those are going to be the people holding up their picture camera to take a picture with you when they see you.
Now we not see, if you got a question for him, that got to come via super chat. I'm just not going to just answer questions. You know what I'm saying? And again, when we have difference of opinion, I always say to y'all, we could differ in opinion, but we don't have to be differ with disrespect. What's the point? Disrespect get met with disrespect. Aggression get met with aggression. You know what I'm saying? Especially like he a Brooklyn dude for me, and I know him personally. Put a few hands on dudes, put hands on a few dudes in the conscious community. This is a fact. You know what I'm saying? For the disrespect. So okay, before we go, essential reading. If I'm, say I'm 37, say I'm 27, and say, or I'm 17, and I'm like, yo, it got to be more to life than this. It got to be more than just, you know, just the hustle and bustle every day. I want to learn about my people. I want to learn about, you know, what's going on with me as a people. Give me a book should be the foundation of what they should read. So he's going to actually grab it.
If you want to learn, I'm going to actually grab it.
Yeah, that's how real it is.
About Israelite culture and heritage, we call books like this, right, elementary. This is a book called From Babylon to Timbuktu, written by a man by the name of Rudolph R. Windsor. He wrote this book in the early 70s. In fact, the earliest copy that he first dropped was in 1968 or 1967. It's entitled From Babylon to Timbuktu. This is foundational for anyone that wants to learn more about what it is to be an Israelite. Something that, unfortunately, Shyne had an opportunity to clarify, but he was actually more concerned with pleasing the European status quo.
So besides that, if they just want to learn about, just raise their level of consciousness, give me a book that they could read. Just consciousness on a whole.
Oh, well, I would definitely take you to the autobiography of Malcolm X, which is where I started.
Yo, it's funny because that's where, yo, listen to me, people. That is where I start. I swear to you, it was two things that changed me. One was Mississippi Burning. I watched Mississippi Burning. And I went outside and put in some pain on the first, you know, person of the opposite that I seen based off Mississippi Burning. And I think I was like 14 and I read the autobiography of Malcolm X. And I forever was just like, yo, nah, I gotta be more, gotta be more. And that was the journey to search it. Then from the autobiography of Malcolm X, I always tell people the first book that I think you should read, if you just wanna raise your consciousness and you don't know what it is to be conscious and you don't follow anybody on YouTube, first thing you should read is a book by Akil, A-K-I-L, called From Niggas to Gods.
Oh, hell yeah.
Part 1 and part 2.
Yes, sir.
Reason why I say that, because the words are big. It's not crazy words that you won't understand. The words are big, but the understanding in there is good. So, From Niggas to Gods by Akil's part 1 and part 2.
If I could say this to you, seeing that me and you, you know, we got a little age behind ourselves in terms of knowing Brooklyn, There used to be a bookstore downtown Brooklyn in Albee Square Mall called A&B Bookstores on
Oh,
Warren Street.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I first got the book From Niggas to Gods, was in that
Yeah.
bookstore.
A&B
And people
bookstore.
who know Brooklyn know A&B was the store.
A&B book. Even in Kiro Books, that was Talib Kweli's store.
See, yeah.
Talib
And I
Kweli
just
had a
learned that.
bookstore called
For
Kiro
years, I
Books.
didn't know it was his store, but I remember the store.
Yes, in Kiro Books. But A&B Books was there forever. A&B Books was there forever. So at the end of it all, you know, we just came on here because, again, Shyne got a big platform to speak where he spoke. And, you know, again, I know many brothers from the Hebrew Israelite community, and although some of them differ, I think they will all agree that what Shyne said was out of line because it was directed at them. You know, whenever you get somebody who looks like you, of your hue, of your background, region background, and they get a big platform, and the first thing they do is tell everybody, I'm not one of them. He could have said that in many different ways without calling them the 40 deuce, the dudes on 40 dudes yelling, you know.
That's right. I personally believe anytime a black man gets in front of a major news outlet and feels the need to say, I'm not a part of them, another black group, that's a major problem for black people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're disassociating yourself from your people, which is very, very, you know, very, very, you know, again, he didn't even have to say that, though. He didn't even have to say that because, again, for you to disassociate yourself with something, that means that you find a problem, an issue with that. And I would love for him to debate one of y'all. I would love it.
I would love to too, but I hope Shyne is more intelligent than that. But I would love to see it. I'm gonna keep it real.
But look, I would love for him to debate one of y'all because, again, if you feel so strongly about something and you're willing to go on a national syndicated program and say something, then hey, you got to be able to stand on it and let somebody challenge that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let somebody challenge that. So this wasn't, and I think it was very respectful in your responses today. You didn't even disrespect them, but again, we all question what he was doing, why he was doing, and how you go from Moses Levi that you don't wear the clothing anymore.
Right.
And now you're Shyne again.
There you go.
So I'm confused all the way. How did you go from Shyne to Moses Levi? You wasn't Shyne, and now you're Shyne again. And you don't have a beard, and you don't even have the side locks no more.
Gone.
So, you know, anyway, so Zion, give them your social media.
Social media is Zion Lexx, Zion Lexx at Gmail, Zion Lexx TV on YouTube, all things Zion Lexx, ZionLexx.com, my website. Shout out to you, Doggie Diamonds, once again for an amazing moment in time and having the ability to come and drop whatever it is that we can to further the next generation.
Somebody keeps saying the Tasha K interview. What is the Tasha K interview about? I didn't see.
I had an interview. I was on the Tasha K show a couple of months ago, and the subject was the brother known as Brother Polite and the allegations against him. So a lot of people who are newly familiar with me are familiar with me because of my appearance on the Tasha K show.
Oh, yeah, but how can they? Well, I guess that's a different audience. But damn, you've been around for how long? Like you ain't new to the community.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Do you have any debates or anything coming up?
I might have a debate coming up. I think it's more of a lesson, right? Dr. John Henry Clark said, I debate my equals, all else I teach. But there might be a debate in the works with a guy by the name of Vocab Malone, who is a European who is against the Israelite narrative that blacks and Hispanics could actually be the chosen people that the Bible spoke of. That's something that is in the works right now. So we'll see about that. But one of the major things that I'm doing right now behind the scenes is that I just actually partnered with a local black law firm right here in New York City to design online and offline educational workshops for black people who can come as adults and as young teenage adults, online or offline, to learn skill sets. All we was taught when we was younger, coming up in the 80s, is go to college, get a degree, and your life gonna be lit. Well, we now know that there's people who went to college, got a degree or 2 or 3, and their life is all but lit. So most of the people that we know, not to diss people who went to college, because I still tell my children, I have twin daughters that are 17 and I want them to go to college. But I also tell my children something that the previous generation didn't tell us. Get yourself a trade as well.
Yes. Yes, because the trade goes a long way.
A whole long way.
And all right, so somebody said you just lied on somebody named King Jacob. Again, another one of those names said you just lied on vocab.
So vocab, to be clear, does not believe in the narrative that Blacks and Hispanics are the chosen people of the Bible. That is his thoughts. So for anybody to say that that's a lie, again, hate is a form of admiration and love. So we already know where that person's at.
All right, so yo, Zion, man, thank you for joining me today. This won't be the last time you've been here. And they could go look at our previous interview that we did. We did previous interviews. You could just go to my channel, type in Zion Lexx, spelled just like that, and you're going to see previous stuff that we did. This is not the last thing we're going to do. I actually hit you up. Yeah, we were supposed to do this yesterday. I just hit you out of the blue. And, you know, we here today. This is how we put content out there. You know what I'm saying? We all that talk is cool, but we put content. We are content creators. We're not curators. We are content creators. We're not YouTubers. We are creators. And at the end of it all, that's what it's all about, creating content. So unless anything else come up that we going to build, if you know anything you want to build about, you know, my platform is always open to you. And as well as all the other brothers and stuff. So hit me up, and I'm going to hit you up later on. Let me sign you out. Likewise, man. Peace and take care. Yep, peace. All right, y'all. So yeah, that was Zion Lexx. You know, he came on here to respond to something that he deemed to be why are you so loud? Deemed to be derogatory, that he felt that was aimed at himself and other brothers of his community. So he came on here to speak his speak. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's not about the man that you are infatuated with or you like based off of their success. Anybody that says anything can always be challenged. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he did. He wasn't disrespectful. He didn't call him out his name. You know, there's a lot you could do the most when you're when you have a different opinion from somebody. You know, that's what I felt like he did. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all for you know, tuning in. Shout out to everybody who hit the like button. Get them likes up if you can. Yeah, that's what it is. Damn, I ain't even put the super chat in the thing. So you know I was just rushing to make this show happen. You know, and again, this is a video that, you know, certain people own and control YouTube, so they definitely won't monetize this. You know what I'm saying? They don't monetize anything that they want to control. You know what I'm saying? So anytime we are speaking from our point of view about something that they think they control and they're the master of us, they're never going to make sure we actually can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So I'm Doggie Diamonds, and I'm about to get up out of here. And for everybody, if you don't know, two things. I have the promo. For only $100, I promote whatever you need on my social medias and my website, my Twitter, Facebook, Insta stories, YouTube community, and my website, doggiediamondstv.com, which will be featured on. And hit me up on Instagram at Doggie Diamonds for your promo, serious inquiries only. And if you want to get an interview with me right now, I'm running something for the New Year's. Yeah, so for only $350, you book your 20-minute interview with me. So you could be on my channel right now getting an interview. $350. You know, I'm doing something, not charging y'all a lot, not charging y'all a little bit, but I got to charge. So without any further ado, I bid y'all good day. I might come back on later. Not really sure. But y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. I got some running around to do. Peace.